Thank God.
Yeah.
Finally.
Get the fuck out
I'm
of
just
here.
kidding.
Get out of my face.
I'm kidding. I love you. You're
motherfucker.
great. I love everything you do.
I spent... You know how long it took me to put that green screen podcast together?
I have no idea.
It took me fucking 6 hours just in editing.
Wow.
It looked beautiful.
It didn't.
It's gorgeous.
It's not.
I love everything
It's
you
not.
did.
We're not. That's why we're not on the green screen this
Do
weekend.
you know how long I worked on that?
54 minutes, which is the amount of time that we were actually had usable podcast.
I mean, I did have to come back and do some extra takes.
That was 54 minutes worth.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it
You
was a
didn't do a
day.
good job.
I feel like I spent a whole day
No,
there.
well, I mean, that's because we were allegedly on mushrooms.
Allegedly. I mean, you can talk if you want to.
I was just trying to let you guys work your shit out first.
No, that's
before
okay.
We get started.
Usually we need you
There's
to
a lot of
interject.
infighting.
And,
A lot of infighting in the
Yeah.
Meat Sweats podcast.
I mean, it sounds like Bill definitely wants his name first on the credits.
What people
My
don't
name
know
is first in the credits alphabetically.
when we ask them to come on this podcast is what they're really doing is counseling our marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. We actually entered into a gay marriage with each other
I would
because
guess
we know.
I've actually noticed a lot of gay marriage people like look a lot like each other, and you guys
Yeah.
look.
I mean,
a lot
why?
First of all, he should feel great about that, but I feel terrible about that because I'm obviously the much better looking one of this.
He is definitely the
Yeah.
trophy husband.
You
Yeah.
think he's the better looking one?
Yeah, look at his nose. He's got that
What is
beautifully,
wrong with
beautifully
you?
defined nose, his high cheekbones.
I mean, Bill's got a barrel chest.
Do I not
I
have
got
a barrel chest?
and a big ass, buddy.
I don't have a
That
big ass. That's the
badonkadonk
thing.
doesn't quit.
Listen,
All
Bill's,
that donk.
Bill's ass is enough to make
You
me
know I'm
overlook
an
so
ass
many
man.
things.
I mean, what
And
can I
it's
say?
mostly I'm just talking about your moral character and the things that you generally do in
What do
life.
you mean? I have a great moral character.
I know
you
you
told
do.
me you wanted to have me around my kids when you were on mushrooms, allegedly.
I totally did because you're a sweetheart.
See?
You're a sweet kid.
I'm a good man.
Yeah, see,
Good boy.
Way to make it real and take all the funny out of our fun.
That's where the funny is for me, is in the realness.
I know.
It's in the
I know.
pudding.
Hey, Mason Pipes.
Mason Pipes,
How you
talking to
doing?
your
Matt and
mic
Bill.
a little bit more.
See this
When-
mic?
Yeah.
Stick it right in your
the sweet
mouth.
Spot, right in the sweet spot.
You want
Is
to
that
talk
good?
right
Yeah.
into the end of it like
Yeah.
it's the tip of a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Did you
nice
hear that?
kiss. Look at you. Very sensual. I
Yeah.
love it already.
Oh, I like to play with it. You know,
Wow. Sweetheart.
play with the medium.
So we got Mason Pipes. It's episode 51 of the Meat Sweats podcast,
Yeah.
as you all know.
Yeah,
Happy to
51.
be here.
Happy to be
Hey,
here.
we're happy you're here.
We're happy to have you.
I like you.
We heard a little rumor about how the Ghost Boys approached you to do their show, and they were just like, "No, Longfellow's in town, so
Yeah.
we'll have you,
You know,
on."
People like to
with
have
Michael.
us together.
And I was just like, "Nah, we want our own pipe."
Why do people
Thank
want
you.
to have you guys together?
I don't know. We get associated with each other.
They were a package deal for a very long
Oh, yeah?
time.
Yeah,
Yep.
we're kind of partnerish. We write stuff together a lot. And,
Oh, okay.
But
They've
dude,
done
the problem is
packets
every time
together.
we do a podcast together, if you listen back to it, neither of us can tell which one is talking because our voices sound almost identical.
That's gross.
it's
That's
disgusting.
really
That's
disgusting.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's not fun. What's it like to have I shouldn't ask because I have that with someone. My brother and I have like the exact same sounding voice.
Yeah.
Like, so I used to answer the phone at home when
Yeah.
we were kids, and I would fuck with his friends.
Yeah.
I would just because it made me feel bad to have the same voice as my brother who's 6 years younger than me.
Right.
So I would just sit there and tell his friends like, "Yeah, I hate you," and they'd be like, "What? What? Like, what did we do?" And I'd be like, "Nah, you're just a piece of shit." And I think you're
His
fucking-
girlfriend
I
calls
think
you.
you're
It's like,
gay.
I'm breaking up with you. I'm gay.
He never had a girlfriend. That was I had to fuck with his dude friends because
Yeah.
there was no women involved when I still lived with them.
Yeah.
I mean, he's way younger. Like you have your sister's way younger than you. I didn't realize how much younger.
I have a 16-year-old sister and I have a
Oh, shit.
21-year-old brother.
That's
How old
fucking
are you?
crazy.
I'm 26.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So I mean, you have the similar relationship with your brother, like as far as just years go apart. Like you're 4 years, I'm 6. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
But then the severely younger sister, your 16-year-old sister, like you probably weren't even in the house that long for when she was a kid.
Not all the time. No,
Yeah.
we're not super close.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I'm just
especially-
kidding. No, she's awesome. I
Fuck
do a
her,
lot of
right?
I do a lot of comedy bits about her. So
Do you really?
that every time we hang out, she does
Actually,
something
yeah,
that
no,
I find
I remember a
incredibly disgusting
weird.
or douchey.
That's
so
funny.
I usually get to talk about that. But she's actually awesome. She gets mad because I missed her birthday like 5 years in a row unintentionally.
Oh.
And this is like when I still lived at home. But every summer I would. Her birthday's right at the end of the summer, July 31st. And so every year, like at the end of summer, I would be like out doing something with my friends at that time, and I missed it consistently. And she also like comes from divorce, so I hope that she doesn't go slutty in high school.
She's definitely gonna. Like
didn't,
the second
didn't have
she
the
has,
male support that I
she
should have given
definitely
her.
had. Like the second she has like anything a little boy wants, like they're just gonna get her.
All
If
right,
they
that's
are,
enough of
they
that.
haven't already.
Yeah, from a legal standpoint, I'm going to need you to stop
I mean,
this discussion
I
immediately.
remember
I don't
being a
want us to get
14-year-old or a 13-year-old kid, and there was the one girl that developed like the second we all hit ninth grade.
Listen, this
I
conversation
remember
needs to
swimming.
stop right now.
Swimming class.
Swim
The
class.
swim class in gym, and it was like she was the first girl with boobies that anybody noticed.
Yeah.
We're talking
And
about young girls.
She
with boobies.
she then was the first one with a
welcome to
belly
Meat
bump
Sweats.
that we all noticed because she got pregnant.
Whoa.
Yeah,
At 13?
13.
Wow.
Yep. Shout out to Lacey. I'm not going to say her last name, but you should.
know
Shout
who
out
you
to
are.
Lacey's stepdad, too. Am I
Lacey.
right?
Oof. No, it wasn't her.
Sharing
stepdad.
clothes with your daughter.
Right? I mean, goodness.
God, I am
Oh.
so sweaty. I
It's
drove
just-
here,
it's meat
dude. I live
sweats.
in AJ, so driving here, I left at like 3:45 to get here at 5, and my AC doesn't work.
Oh,
so
Jesus.
I'm looking at my phone like for directions the whole time,
Yeah.
but it kept turning off and saying like your phone needs to cool.
Oh, my God.
And so then I would just like panic, and the only way I could cool it down because nothing cold is coming out at all. It's like a fucking hair dryer if I put my phone up by the AC.
Yeah.
Was I was pulling my shirt up and just rubbing it on my sweaty body.
Because it's in a case. So
Yeah, because like it felt so hot against my skin, so I was like, well, my skin must be much cooler than this. You know, I'm sweating. This is the way my body naturally cools.
I mean, you have
I'll
a
cool
really,
my phone.
That's just you have a great understanding of thermodynamics.
It turned back on like 5 times, so tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, you're not. You're not.
There you
Because
go,
definitely
science.
The colder goes to cold goes to hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when air meets, like it always cold makes like cold is attracted to hot, and it always goes that direction, and never like hot to cold. You know what I mean?
Hot people don't like ugly people.
Exactly.
But ugly people like
That's
hot
why you're
people.
never. That's why you're never going to be happy, Matt.
Because I'm hot or because I'm ugly?
Ugly.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I
Hey,
definitely
you know what?
like
That's
hotter
enough of
people
that.
than
At
me,
the beginning
so.
of this podcast, I was saying you weren't the pretty one. You are absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. I appreciate
You
that.
look like a very young buff Santa.
Oh, yeah.
Buff Santa.
Like,
Santa.
like,
Come on,
dude.
Buff
If
Santa.
you were making gay porn Santa,
No.
Matt Walker is first choice.
Matt is first.
Producer
choice in
Brian
game.
agrees.
Yeah,
that,
definitely
absolutely.
first choice.
Walking
and-
through the
and
shot, Brian
It's fine.
Keeley.
He does
That's what
that
he
a lot.
does.
He does that.
We're hoping to
Normally
get
he
a picture
shows
of
the
his
audience
dick.
his nipples
Yeah.
or something fun,
Yeah.
but you know, today his nipples must be drooping.
He's busy burning pizza.
Yeah, burning the
smell
fuck
of
out
it.
of that pizza. Jesus, Brian, who the fuck raised you? Nobody.
Nobody makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Whoa, whoa,
Whoa,
So
whoa,
aggressive.
whoa, buddy.
Whoa.
Brian Keeley flipping
Buddy.
the bird
Whoa.
for those at home.
He wants
Hey,
to use that
buddy,
camera
remember when I
later.
bought you that Dr. Pepper? It's because I love you.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
that's
on, Brian.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Brian.
You're supposed to like me and not him.
Are
That's,
you what? Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is the respect I get. I feel
I
like
love
Rodney
that I now
Dangerfield
have-
with half the comedic ability.
I love
Half is
how
pretty generous.
I
Rodney's a
love-
funny man.
Rodney's a very funny man.
I love
If
how I
could
now
only
have
pull
other
off a-
people.
Huh?
I love how I now have other people calling you the producer of this podcast.
It's, I mean,
After bringing you on stage,
He just
the other
told
week-
you he was working on the green screen podcast for 6 hours.
6 hours.
While rubbing it in your
Right.
face that you did fucking nothing
Right.
during that
I
time.
mean,
Right.
yeah.
It sounded like he was saying you're
definitely my
replaceable.
podcast.
That's what I heard.
It's definitely my. Like,
I heard
can-
every
I can
episode is an
remove-
audition to take your spot.
It is. It really is.
And listen,
That's why I'm not giving it 110.
He's like, I don't want to make that drive every fucking time we
Oh,
have to
God.
do this.
there's
I'm
nobody.
missing-
There's nobody who's willing to put up with Bill. That's the thing.
Oh,
Like,
come on. People would put up
We
with
almost
me.
did a podcast together one
We
time.
almost did. Actually, I was
guys?
going to talk about that. We were going to do an
recorded
MMA one.
episode.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we were going to do an MMA-based podcast. We are going to talk about, and then I realized,
I'm
like,
glad you guys didn't.
I'm well, no, I just realized like I'm so far out of like being able to
Yeah.
because Mason can talk super high level on
Right.
professional MMA at this point. Like you could commentate the UFC.
Oh, thank
in my
you.
opinion,
I
you
keep
have
up.
a lot of really good knowledge on people. Like you'd be perfect to take Goldie's spot.
That's pretty much my dream.
I had no idea
that'd
that
be
you had this
fantastic.
ability.
Oh, dude.
It's my only other
knows
passion.
Mason
comedy.
knows
Yeah.
fighting like nobody's business, and it's like impressive. He knows how much he knows fighting, and he's trained before. So
I
it's
think
like,
that's why I'm
it's
so
not
attracted to Bill, because I know he's a skilled wrestler, and I see that bull. I know what's there.
Not that skilled. I mean,
That's why I'm attracted to him.
never-
honestly.
Say some guy on the street approaches you. You're not going to suplex him?
I would probably
He approaches you with violent
probably
intent.
shoot a double first. I would shoot a double in the street.
You shoot a double, you
No
go
knee
behind,
double. No knee
you
double like
suplex.
Bill Goldberg style. Just spear the fuck out of him.
That's a tackle.
No, it's a no knee double. it means you
it's a
don't you
we
take
can
a
make stuff up,
penetration
Matt wouldn't
step.
know. Double blaster.
You take a
double laser
penetration step,
blaster.
but you don't drop your knee.
Do you know why his special move was called the spear tackle?
Because of the
He
headbutt?
played football
Because
for
it's,
the Rams.
because it's a spear tackle.
But it's different. So so a spear tackle is one that you wrap up, right? Right?
yeah.
This you don't wrap up
Why don't you wrap up?
because you don't
just
want
hit
to
him
get
with
your
your
arms
shoulder?
caught underneath the guy. What you do on a standing double,
I
or
feel
a
like-
no-knee
I feel
double-
like you're
just
just-
fucking listen to me,
I just-
goddammit, once in your life, man.
I feel like
And to the audience at home, this is why we did not continue this podcast. We figured interest would be low.
I feel
gonna
like you're
fucking
just
flip
trying
the
to
table at
craft
one point.
this to make your argument work.
No.
But it's fine. I'm going to listen. I'm going to give you the benefit
Okay,
of the
where do you
doubt.
put your head? Where do you put your head on a tackle?
You should have your head straight up.
You should put it where the ball is, side of the ball.
Or, yeah, but you can't really lead with your head anymore. You got to lead with your face mask, so your face should be straight up.
Hey, I didn't know we were
Really?
talking
And
about
if-
pansy
if
ball. I
you're-
thought we were talking about football.
If you're tackling low, you should probably keep your head to one side or the other. You don't ever want to have your head go straight into him because you're going to fuck up your neck.
Okay.
If you're tackling correctly, proper tackling technique.
So the way they teach a standing double is you push your face into the guy
Okay.
every time.
Yeah.
Because that's what pushes it over.
Right.
Because you don't have the momentum like you do in a tackle, right? Like in a tackle, you're running.
It depends.
You know, well, it does.
Tackles happen in a lot of different areas,
They
a lot
do.
of different
They
ways.
do.
I mean,
There's no wrap up.
tackles in the inner
And
city
you're just-
and tackles in the outer city, they're different.
You're just touching the back of the knees.
Tackles in
You're just
fishing.
touching the back of the knees.
Different.
That's all you're doing with your hands. Like
In what?
In a standing double.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in football, you're trying to stop the person.
Yep,
So
and
you're
this-
trying to secure them, but you also want to kill them at the same time.
Yeah. This one you're trying to get
So-
them directly to the back.
Okay.
Trying to physically dominate them.
Dominate.
Make them feel
Yep.
inferior to you.
No,
Be
listen,
able
I've-
to insert at least one digit.
I wrestled a little bit.
Hey, you look
A
like
little
you
How
bit
many
wrestling.
digits you get in?
I didn't put any digits in.
No
I-
digits? Not
How
the
many
digits?
digits you take?
That's amateur.
I never got digited.
You never got digited?
I didn't wrestle as long. I wrestled
Okay.
for a very short period of time.
Did you ever get digited?
Oh, I took a digit.
They took a digit?
I took a couple digits.
If those of you that don't know what we're saying when we mean digited, I mean it's
Oil checks is how
oil
they
check
refer to.
or butt drag is
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
fun colloquialism for yeah. Essentially, if a guy's not letting you get behind him to score your takedown, you just fucking put your at least up to the second knuckle.
Finger in the butthole
Yeah.
is what he's trying
Mine
to
was
say.
always outside the gym, but I took a digit.
I watched one guy in college. His name is Clyde. Clyde Switzer. Shout out to Clyde. He's a friend on Instagram. He was a fucking just a saint of a person. And he had the worst butt drag I've ever witnessed personally in my life. He had like this guy's whole fucking hand in his ass.
Oh, Jesus.
And he did not fucking lay out.
Oh.
Like he held it. He kept on scooting his feet away. This
That's a
dude
man.
was fucking shoveling for his asshole with his
Yes.
hand. It was so impressive.
Wow.
I mean, that's my definition of a real
Did
man.
his singlet come out all poopy?
I mean, I don't want to. I wouldn't want to wear that thing next year.
Oh.
We
I
had
mean,
one-
you're getting more than your money's worth. You bought
Yeah.
a ticket to go see that wrestling match.
Yeah.
like that's one thing about wrestling. Like you don't get to keep your singlet ever. Like unless you steal it.
I mean, do you want to?
I mean,
For what
I
purpose?
stole every singlet that I was ever given by any coach or any team that I ever wrestled for.
Do you just wear it around the
Sorry,
house now?
sorry, Mr. White. No, it's
Do you
in
still
my.
have 'em?
They're in my closet. Yeah,
We should put him on someday.
we're not putting.
Well, you
singlets
should
on.
put on actually like a WWF style wrestling match in your backyard and wear that.
That'd be great. I have
we
done.
should both put on one of your singlets.
You both
won't
look like
fit in
you
it either.
would have
They're
WWF
stretchy.
wrestled before.
Give me the biggest one.
My singlets are both from like the two that I have here, are
Yeah.
both from college.
Yeah.
and I wrestled at 149.
Okay. They're stretchy.
They're not that stretchy, especially the freestyle.
Think about how good that's gonna look now, though.
the freestyle singlet I have.
The
is-
singlet, the tight body singlet
You
you
know what
wore
a
when you
fr-
were
you know what a
149 pounds.
I
Think about
just-
the nipples. Oh my God. It's
Hold
going
on
to
a
be
second,
so
guys.
low on you. It's going to be the deepest
I just
arch.
thought of the best.
I have a deep cut one.
The best house party that we're gonna have here next is everyone comes in a singlet.
Yes.
I mean, you got to find
Guys,
singlets.
girls, you can get them. You can get them. They're at
Play it
places.
against
Hey,
sports.
you go
is gonna
down
be
to
out of stock.
a high school, a middle school, you say, hey, can I just go in there, take
me
your
just go in
singlets,
there. Yeah, I
with
just
just the
need
dirty
them.
ones.
Just need
I
them.
want them for my own
I want
purposes,
the ones
nothing
with
weird.
poop on them from when the guy got oil checked.
If they've got poop on them, I'll take them off your hands.
We had
All
a
right.
kid, Tony Bates, will get,
Perhaps this is a bad idea.
get gut wrenched once in high school. He got gut wrenched real hard, and he wasn't feeling well. And a gut wrench is like in freestyle. In freestyle, there's no pinning combinations, and if you get taken onto your back, the match is over. But then if you get rolled, so if you're on the ground and there's a guy in top position, and he rolls you and exposes your back, even if he takes you right back to your tummy, he gets 2 points. So there's this move called a gut wrench. You essentially just fucking squeeze around somebody's midsection as hard as you can. You dig your top of your head into their back, and then you roll them over. Like you just do a barrel roll.
A technical move.
It's very technical. You just got to be real dumbly strong and
Yeah.
know where to walk your feet.
It's like a mongoloid kill.
So yeah, Tony got squeezed real hard and he shit into his singlet.
Oh no!
He just became a Play-Doh person.
Dude, I never saw anybody shit, but I saw somebody get slammed to the mat and then scream like a woman, like ah! Just scream. And we were like, "What happened?" And he was just holding his dick, and he's like, "My dick." The head of his dick just slapped against the mat, I guess, when he hit the ground, and he
God.
shrieked so loud. It was hilarious.
Shout
out to Nate. You know who I'm talking about.
I
You
got
healed up, brah. And if it's purple, hey, that's you now.
I was in a JV wrestling tournament, and Mr. Drenth was my coach, and he was this dude. He was no bigger than me, like a 60-year-old dude, and my height, which is like 5'4". Yoked though, like I mean, just not an ounce of fat on him, and just fucking shredded old man. And
Hot.
It was super hot. I was in a match, and I had picked up a single leg on a kid, and he spladled, which is like you kind of jump and try to lace your arm through and roll into a pinning combination on the guy that's trying to hit the single on you. When he did that, his foot kicked me in the nuts, like really fucking hard, because I was like pulling up as he jumped, and my nut went up in me. And I get off the mat, and I'm just like, Mr. Drenth, like, I don't know what to do. My nut's inside me. And he's like, well, either jump and get it out, or I'm going to go in after it.
Oh, Jesus
And I was just
Christ.
like, And then I started just jumping in place like a fucking idiot.
Wow.
You couldn't say that nowadays.
No.
Mr. Drenth would be in pretty hot water.
I have a friend, Carolyn. Her husband Devin Powell's in the UFC now, and I just
That's
read. I read a couple months ago that he had his testicles ruptured when he
Yeah?
was sparring with Joe Lozon.
Oh.
Like, took a knee, I think, and
Lozon.
ruptured them.
Lozon
Jesus
the nut
Christ.
rupturer. That's what his new.
Can you imagine that?
Oh God, no.
Ruptured.
That's
That means
insane.
opened.
We had a kid.
Yeah.
Do that in his name. His name was Zach. He had that happen to him in football, where he had like a nut rupture,
Good
and then he got a
Lord.
prosthetic nut.
Wow.
Yeah, he got a prosthetic ball.
Hey, I mean, you're going to, right? Would you?
Did you get a
Get a
prosthetic
prosthetic
ball?
ball?
Say you lose a
Absolutely.
ball, you gonna replace one?
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
You gotta have your sack.
for the
You gotta-
aesthetics.
I mean, like it's like losing a titty. You know, like you only
Women,
lose.
if you have one titty, you're still beautiful.
Yeah, you are. Or if
I'm
if,
gonna
if you had
disagree.
both of them taken off,
And if you have
know,
no titties, you're not beautiful either.
I don't know. There's something.
I like
about,
2 titties.
There's something about.
They can
Angelina
be
Jolie
small
has no
titties.
titties. She's beautiful.
They can be small titties. They can be big
Nah, she
titties.
wasn't.
I don't care.
I mean,
But
double
you better have 2
mastectomy,
titties.
no nipples, even.
No,
Like, good for her.
No.
she's alive.
no, good
I
for
think
her,
that's hot.
but I don't have to be sexually attracted to it.
Do they not put your nipples back
I'll
on?
lick her chest.
Is that
Go
bad to
for it.
ask?
Sometimes.
I'm just
That's you.
asking medically, not
What?
Sometimes.
not in a bad way.
What about what?
Like, do they put the nipples back? If
I don't
you
think so.
Sometimes
have
they don't.
Because men get them removed too. I'm asking for men too. Peter Criss, the drummer of Kiss, one of my favorite bands growing up, probably my favorite band growing up.
Fuck that no
Yeah,
titty
he got male breast cancer.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't saying really to that.
Kiss was one of my favorite bands.
Your favorite band growing up?
Yeah,
Can
dude.
you
I
not
mean,
see-
you're influenced by your
Do you
parents.
not see it in his face? Like, I totally look at his face and be like, you fucking love Kiss.
My first concert was Kiss and Aerosmith.
Absolutely. I totally see
My brother
that,
would
by the way.
really like you.
Dude,
Like,
it was
Kiss is
awesome.
his thing, too. Like, he loves Kiss.
Dude, they put on a fucking awesome show. More gold records than any American rock band of all time, I will
Gene
say.
Simmons just such an awful person, though.
I mean,
Gene Simmons.
I
from
listen to a
Kiss.
lot of music where like the people probably aren't great.
I
But
like
at
a
least
lot
they're
of
not as-
comedy where
as-
the people are not great.
I mean, in rap, they're pretty upfront about the stuff
Wow.
they're doing not being great.
I don't know.
And I like
Gene
it.
Simmons almost seems more forthright about how much of a piece of garbage he is.
he is. And he's
Oh,
totally okay with it.
He's
Like,
so bad.
what's
Dude,
bad?
were they not brilliant the way that they like marketed themselves though? They sold so much merch.
You know
they're
who
like
Craig Gass is, right?
jillionaires.
You,
and
Craig
then-
Gass. You know Craig Gass?
Yeah.
Craig Gass,
Yeah.
comedian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you.
Who does the Gene Simmons from Kiss thing?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
You have to go onto YouTube and listen to the shit when he was on Howard Stern.
Okay.
And Gene Simmons from Kiss came onto Howard Stern because Craig Gass does this amazing impression of Gene Simmons from Kiss. And everything he ends with is, you can get this at kiss.com for like $9.99. And it's always like his impression of he
That is
does
so
a really
funny.
good impression, but he always ends it with, you can get this at kiss.com.
Yeah, dude, I mean, as far as sellouts go, they sold out as much as you can sell out, dude. They had like
yeah.
Scooby Doo cartoons and like
They did
I had,
everything.
Like,
The
all
Kiss
kinds of
coffin.
little action
The
figures.
Kiss coffin. Just right there, the Kiss
mean,
coffin.
What was even more impressive, though, is like they had fallen off at one point, and then they did the album without makeup, and then everybody was just like, "Oh my God, it's Kiss without the makeup!"
Yeah, I had that freaking MTV Unplugged VHS when I was a kid.
Jesus
You
Christ.
loser.
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much.
You're a terrible person.
I listened
really
to it
are.
all the time.
I love you, but you're a terrible person.
This is because of my dad. My dad loved.
That's why we're terrible people too, because of our dads as well.
Oh, I mean this. Yeah, it goes much further
I
than
mean,
the type of
he had
music.
Kiss. I had just a treasure trove of '70s porn. So
I just
I
had
mean, everybody's dad leaves him something.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
He liked
Thanks,
Kiss.
Brian.
He
You're a
liked
really
the
good
Grateful Dead a
person.
lot. At least, I mean, I didn't jump on the Grateful Dead one.
Oh, I hate the Dead. God, I
There's
hate
like
the
a
Dead.
couple Grateful Dead songs I like. I have a shirt that I wear because it fits me now that I've gained weight. But I mean,
Said nobody ever.
Yeah, I
It
tried.
fits me now because I gained weight.
I'm trying to listen to their music more just because I've gotten fatter and now that shirt fits, and so I have to wear it more often. And I'm
Well,
like,
now
well,
you'll
I guess
fit in
I
more
better
with the
know some
crowd,
of the
too.
songs.
You're a lot like me, where you just kind of go up and down with your body. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
there's maybe 2 years ago, you were just fucking really
I was
in
real
shape
thin.
and just really working out hard.
Dude,
and
I
then-
lost like 80 pounds.
I know.
When I was at
you
that
did
point,
great,
yeah.
and then I had done the
now
same
you're
thing.
a disgusting piece of shit. Is
Yeah,
what
now I
Bill's
look
trying to say.
terrible
He
again.
was puffed up. I didn't say he's disgusting. I just said he got a little puffy.
Well, I mean, when you go like
Just a little puffy.
when you start with, God, you used to look so good.
Did I say good? I didn't mean to say
God,
good.
you were
He meant
so
sexy.
you were
I meant
so fuckable,
Yeah.
and now good thing you're in a relationship.
I mean, actually, when I was bigger,
Yeah.
gay guys would hit on me more.
I get hit on by gay guys and gay guys alone.
Yeah,
That's it's the only people outwardly hitting on
the
me.
chub,
Yeah.
like the
They
chubby,
they
guy.
understand
Oof,
the principle
they're in.
of more cushion for more pushing.
Yeah.
Listen, the dad bod is a real thing, and people are fans.
You know what? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of women that are fans of dad bod just because it's like a sign that he's
That's
not
what I'm
going to go
saying.
I mean,
I'm not
anywhere.
talking about
You've met
the
my
men.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
She looks better than me.
Oh, way
Oh,
better.
yeah.
Yeah, she shouldn't be with you.
No way.
No. Luckily, you're really funny.
Yeah. Well,
And I mean, you're tall too. So don't knock yourself.
That's a twofer.
I feel like that was just you like feeling
That-
bad about yourself and pushing it
that
on
was
me.
definitely some
And
projection.
you're pretty tall too.
There's some projection right there, Doc.
And you only have one penis.
I mean, hey, if I had two, that's just more I can work on.
For
know?
what? For yourself?
If I had two penises,
You jerk off with both hands?
I mean, that'd be fun. Imagine. I mean, like, or maybe
Well,
one
what
day
hand
you're
would you roll
lazy
with?
and you're just like, I'm just going to do the right
It sounds exhausting, is what it sounds like. Now I have two of these monsters that I have to satisfy.
monsters. Jesus, what do you got down there?
A monster.
Yeah,
No,
talking
you
pretty highly about yourself.
Don't act like that.
It's mentality of a
Are you going to take it
monster.
out right now?
Mentality.
He
of
just
a-
took it out right now.
Yeah,
We have a
It's
camera.
huge.
Saw it.
No,
Yeah, nobody saw it.
Yeah.
No,
It's not big.
it's not. It's not. He's got. I mean, it's serviceable. He's
It
got
works.
4 kids.
It works.
You grew up in
3
a
kids.
cult. Did they
3
circumcise
kids.
you in that cult?
Nope.
I did not get circumcised.
Nope.
I knew it because you
Yeah.
were in a cult.
Look at
No.
He's so
That's
so
happy.
crazy.
That
I was born before the cult to hippie ass parents.
Okay.
Like midwife, Austin. My parents knew like the owners of Whole Foods before it took off.
Yeah.
Like that's,
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
My mom was like in with like the like people who are considered like the best midwives.
Super
Yeah.
hippie.
in the fucking
Does
world.
your mom ever like give you coupons for 365 brand food because she knows those people?
No, I don't know what 365 brand
That's
food
what
is.
they sell at Whole Foods.
Oh no! Like she like was shopping at Whole Foods and knew like all those people like before.
Do you have a son?
I got
Yeah.
2 sons.
Are they circumcised?
Yes,
Yeah.
Really?
So you've
they're
chosen to do
circumcised.
that.
I
though you are
circumcised
not.
them because I was not circumcised, and when I was younger, I remember my dad bringing up that I was not circumcised and him apologizing to me, and I felt like somehow there was something wrong with me because I was not circumcised.
Oh, no.
However, now I wish I had not circumcised them
Really?
because I understand the difference in sensitivity.
It's
It's
genital mutilation too, man.
right, and I didn't get that before, but it was also pushed in the cult
Yeah.
to have circumcised because the male cult leader half was Jewish but not, but he was of Jewish heritage, and like if
Okay.
you were one of his grandsons, you were going to be circumcised.
Okay.
Right.
My kids came from an adopted heir in his lineage, so we circumcised him. Plus, with my prior experience,
Wait, your wife was adopted by the cult leaders?
she was a granddaughter of the cult leaders.
Okay.
But in there kind of by adoption through like her stepdad. Real fucking complicated.
Headline is
Yeah.
Matt's got an uncut hog.
Yeah, so I have an uncut hog, and I wish
It's more of a piglet.
I had
Hey.
wished that I had not circumcised them just because I know how sensitive my penis is as
Yeah.
compared to what a uncircumcised
Well,
dick
I'm
is
definitely
from a
glad
bird.
that I was circumcised because it's sensitive enough.
I think it's sensitive enough.
You know, like
Yeah.
I don't. But what do
Jeez.
I know? I've never felt
you
what
gotta
it would
sit
be
there
like
and think
to be
about Mother Teresa all
uncircumcised.
the fucking time. It's so sensitive.
I really don't
Yeah.
know how I feel about that subject because I do remember like when I was a
Would
kid.
you?
And
If you had a boy?
dude, I'm not sure because like I get both sides of the argument.
There's no other side of the argument. Every other side of the argument for
It's bullshit.
circumcision has really come out recently as bullshit.
And you say
Yeah.
this as someone who has circumcised his kids, so you
I have
really,
circumcised
so
my
you
kids.
really are like against it now.
I really like. There's no point in it, and it
Okay.
was. I had to be in the room when it happened for both of them,
Oh,
and it was horribly
Like,
painful
I was-
emotionally
okay.
to sit
as
there.
Yeah.
a man. As
Yeah,
a
that would
dad.
probably be
Well, as
so
a
hard
dad,
to watch.
and to
I'm
watch
sure.
your kid who's 1 week, 2 weeks old, fucking sobbing
I'm
because
sure.
they just chopped the top of his fucking
Oh
foreskin
God,
off.
yeah,
Like,
you know, I
know,
get
and
fucked up
then-
just like having to hold him while he's getting
and then
a
you gotta
shot.
fucking clean them
Really?
after their diapers and
Yeah.
shit, and you have to be worried about like
Oh, no.
it's just very stressful, and it's just not necessary.
You know,
I feel you.
Tell me if you guys have ever heard this. This might just be a bullshit rumor, like clickbait article that I read once that I vaguely remember with my fucking drug-addled brain.
Sounds likely.
Yeah.
But continue.
That foreskin is used in high-end makeup production because of the collagen that it contains.
That sounds like some Make America Great Again fucking chemtrail bullshit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
don't know.
man.
It sounds
That
like
sounds
something that
anti-
crazy
that
fucking
sounds-
makeup
People
would
definitely
do.
use foreskin for like a lot of different traditions and stuff in weird ways, but it's usually just getting eaten.
It
Yeah.
really sounds anti-Semite
Oh, what is
propaganda
it?
stuff.
Semite.
Because the main people who circumcise are
What?
Jewish.
That's not true.
It would be anti-Semitical
Absolutely.
for me to say that every Moyle
I
is
mean-
a child molester because they want to fucking quelch the bleeding with their mouth.
You think
That whole
most
thing's
people that
fucked up.
that are
That's really
circumcised
gross.
are Jewish?
No, I don't. But the most people who like do it still for a religious religion.
Okay, yeah, for religious
Is-
Yes.
reasons.
yeah, that's
That's
in
what
the
I'm
Jewish
saying.
dogma.
I was only like on the fence about it because I was raised being told like it was a really good thing because my grandpa
Right.
wasn't circumcised
Right.
and he had to go to Vietnam for war. And when he was in Vietnam,
hookers.
he got an infection in there and they
From
had
the
to
hookers.
circumcise him
Not from
on
the
the
war.
battlefield as an adult.
No,
Right.
Yeah.
No!
And so he was like,
Grandpa!
He was all for like do it to them when they're a kid before they can like know about it so
Yeah.
they don't get like infections or whatever.
That's not. But
But I mean, that's
You have
old
to-
timey
You
thinking.
have to
Who knows?
clean.
Well,
you have
I
to
mean-
fucking pull the tip of your dick back and fucking clean
Well,
it. Like
yeah.
that's a thing.
If we were
And it's
living in a
supposed
third
to keep
world
it
country-
cleaner also.
If we were
And-
living in a third world country,
Right.
and we had rampant, tropical disease like they do in Vietnam, one trip into a puddle could be
Yeah.
your dick's last day on Earth.
Yeah, I think he just got traumatized from the adult
probably
dick
was,
cutting, and
yeah.
it was like, just do it before they can remember it, because like
As
his
a-
nom flashbacks are getting his dick cut off.
This your fucking grandpa fucked a hooker, got an STD.
That's what happened.
and had to get his foreskin cut off.
what happened.
That's what
Hey,
happened.
I'm not going to say that didn't happen because he was an American serviceman, and they did what they had to do over there. I've talked to Billy O'Connor. I know what's going on. He did bring back a lovely Korean woman, my grandmother.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and now you're here.
and here we
Here
have
I
Pipes.
am, circumcised. Darn it.
Thanks, Grandpa Pipes. Grandpa Pipes.
Oh man.
I bet he had a hog on him.
I
Like,
mean,
that's why the
I would
name
imagine.
Pipes
I didn't,
started.
I didn't see it. Well, that's on my mom's side,
Oh, okay.
so he's not technically a
He's
Pipes.
not
I
a
never
Pipes.
met my grandpa Pipes.
Never met Grandpa Pipes?
Nah, he's passed away before I was born.
Ah, lucky you.
Yeah, suicide.
Oh.
Lucky. Even luckier you. He's probably a sad guy.
Yeah, you didn't
Yeah,
want to
I mean,
meet him.
I don't need that baggage.
No, you don't need that shit. Who wants that? Nobody. My goodness. Yeah.
I didn't expect the circumcision discussion.
It's a good discussion. Would you
Yeah.
do it?
I really feel like I've
So
learned.
would you do it?
Yeah.
Would you do it to your kid if you had a kid of your own?
Probably not. I mean,
No, I wouldn't either.
if he wants to do it when he's like adult, they can like put you under, right?
There
had an
is-
adult friend do it.
They can't
They
put
don't.
you under. There is a level of kind of like shame that goes along with it still. Because there's a lot of women who like I see shit online. I've never had a woman say anything to me about it before.
Well, I mean, they're not going to accost you about the way your penis looks.
Some of them are terrible people, just like some of us guys are terrible.
Did you
people
ever
and
have
say terrible
anybody
things.
comment on your dick? To you?
No.
I had
I have
people
had
ask.
one, and she said it was scary looking.
Actually, I've had
And I'm cut.
no. I've had very nice things said about my
See,
penis.
I've had that mean thing and
Yeah.
then nothing at all. So
But I have seen online
I
where
have a
women
horribly scary dick, apparently.
sometimes say things about uncircumcised
Oh, yeah.
penises, and that gets in my head, and I'm like, "Huh, is that a real thing?"
Yeah, well, I used to Tinder date a lot, as
Yeah.
you know, and that was a question that you get asked a
Really?
lot on Tinder.
What?
Is like,
You got
are
asked?
you circumcised?
you got asked that?
Oh yeah, I
Did
got asked
you
that
really?
all the time.
I never once
that
got
was like
asked
a
that.
common online dating question
Are you
from
fucking
girls.
serious?
Is if you're circumcised.
No, I've never been asked that ever in my life.
Oh wow.
It's always
Not
just like a
once.
surprise.
Gosh, maybe I'm just taking the conversations too sexual too quick.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sitting there talking about
had a goal
about
for a
their,
while
about
on
their
Tinder,
cat
you know?
pictures.
What was your goal?
My goal was to have fun.
Oh, there you go.
That's the most political
And
thing you
now
could
you
ever
have kids,
say
so-
Yeah,
on this podcast.
and it was successful.
Basically, what he said, he's getting pussy. Everybody,
No,
Mason Pipes.
That was
Getting-
before
putting the P
I
in
met
the
my
vajee.
girlfriend, which was like 3 years
Before.
ago. Which I did meet her on Tinder, but before that, I had dated a lot of girls on Tinder for one night.
I mean, I haven't dated a lot, but there's been a couple.
There's like frozen yogurt places that are open till like 2 a.m.
Just
and
for
I
Tinder.
guarantee they're just for Tinder dates. Like, I know it. We used to go to them, and I was like, the only reason that people go here is to feel less slutty.
No,
like,
it is.
That's it.
Open late if you can't close the deal early.
Yeah. That way, after comedy shows, it was convenient.
Right? I mean, I've
nice.
just been going for walks in the park. That's been my move.
Walks in the park.
Yeah.
Then I fell in
Go
love.
to coffee, you cheap piece of shit.
Nope. Cheap. I'm cheap.
buy her a $4 fucking latte.
Honestly, so I've been seeing somebody, and I haven't been able to pay for anything. Like, she runs ahead of me to pay for herself. Which
This is a keeper, Bill.
That
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
my mother would tell me she's a keeper. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah. Me and
My
D
mom-
talked about this, Bill.
My mom is the
D-
most frugal woman in the world. Like, just like Jewish level of frugality from
Yeah.
my mother. Not to be anti-Semitic.
Again.
Again,
Again, I mean,
this is just the anti-Semitic podcast today. Anyway,
I support all Semites.
I don't sign on to that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really just Bill.
I'm not.
Bill hates circumcision. I love it now. We all saw my turn.
Anyway, but she like literally sprints ahead of me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I
definitely
hate it.
keep her. Definitely keep her.
Yeah,
Love it.
Keep it.
That and then it's just like, let's go for a walk.
Lock it
I'm
down.
Like, that's a perfect.
Where'd you
Yeah,
meet her?
she wants to see Skinny Bill. That's
Where'd you
what
guys
she's
meet,
doing.
Bill?
She's
Probably,
trying,
yeah.
she's trying to
Probably,
cut the weight
huh?
off.
Where'd you meet?
We met on a dating app, but
Boom.
we-
Everyone.
That's how
I'm not
we.
weird.
That's just how we got talking. we had met in real life before that, and then she had seen me on a dating app, and like, I'm gonna message that guy, and then messaged me, and then she
Yeah,
was
so
like,
you met on a dating app.
I mean, yeah,
It's okay. Everybody does it. It's not weird now.
And it's not, but I still hate him.
My
Like,
last
I don't
girlfriend
know.
I met on a dating app.
Did
so,
you?
Yeah.
I didn't know you met her on the dating app.
I don't know.
Love
I
is
don't
a
really get
weird
the
thing.
stigma with it anymore. It's just like convenience. You know?
That's what it. Someone's got a joke about it on the scene right now. I think it's Subcheck about how you wouldn't do something that's inconvenient nowadays if you have like a way. Like you wouldn't go to find a payphone if you have your cell phone sitting in your
Yeah.
pocket.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah.
so why would you not use a dating app to meet somebody?
Here's
Yeah,
the
and
thing.
it's not like you don't go out on real dates after you start talking.
These the way they're doing them now, it's so fucked up. I deleted them recently.
I did. We
'cause-
talked about that in the last
Yeah, the
podcast.
last
How
one.
we both deleted.
But
them.
it's just like they're just trying to get me to pay money for shit.
Oh yeah,
it's like, fuck
dude, I'm
you.
not about that. Like Tinder started doing like you can only swipe a certain amount
Yeah.
per day,
Yeah.
or you have to pay.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
and
luckily I've found love before that.
that's
started.
what that's one of the
I
things we
wasn't
talked
looking for
about
love
on that
either.
podcast that we did together. Was that anytime anything gets monetized, whether it be fighting or YouTube or dating apps or whatever, anytime money comes into something, the real like good thing that it was is ultimately ruined. I feel like you know when real money starts exchanging
when it
hands.
gets too big, definitely.
Exactly. Like
Talking about porn, right?
no,
Yeah, definitely, dude.
I
When the
mean-
porn industry got to, I mean, that's why the bubble popped, and
They
now
hit
it's all
that
free.
bubble. They hit that bubble, and that bubble was full of cum.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now that porn's
And
free
now
again,
the cum's
it's amazing.
free.
It's great.
Yeah.
Kids.
Kids, porn.
Kids, porn, and cum
Oh
bubbles.
man, I have to try to be a better person on the podcast. I realized.
Oh, after that conversation about your kids?
No, now.
Do your
because-
kids listen to this podcast?
No.
Uh,
They are?
No
so-
way.
No, they're not.
So over this
You
last
didn't tell me
weekend,
children will be listening. I would have been much more
Your kids are
reserved.
listening to
over
this?
this last weekend, my 16-year-old sat down and was like, "Hey, let's start listening to your podcast."
You can't. You're not allowed. Uncle
he-
Bill said so.
And he started playing it, and I was like, "Oh fuck!"
Which one
Oh,
was it?
fuck. He was playing the one with Centani. He was playing the Centani
That's
episode.
not that bad a one.
And I had to tell him, I was like, all right, listen, I want to tell you some things. So I talk a lot about drugs that I do. I had to look in his eyes and tell him that. I was like, if you're going to listen to this, I need you to know this. I'm going to talk about a lot about drugs that I
finally
do.
done it. I finally ruined Matt's parenthood.
Yeah, you've done it.
Man,
And then I was like,
Oh, Matt's about to lose custody of his kids.
you have no
and I talk
power
a
now.
lot about other things that are really bad. So, if you do listen to this,
You realize
Which
we
he
have a
absolutely
bunch of
will after you
listeners.
say
of
that.
kids'
He's going to.
school.
if you do listen to this, make sure your mother never finds out. And B, if you have any questions, please ask me, and we will have a very honest conversation.
You can
but right now, I don't know what to say to you.
you can give him my number if he needs to ask any questions too.
I'm not. Listen,
Come on.
I said you could be around him, not
I'll
fucking
steer the
talk
kid
to him.
right.
Okay,
I'll steer him right.
he's good. He's a good kid.
Your kid is 16.
I have a
He's a
16-year-old,
monster.
a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old.
Fuck up. How old are you?
I'm 35.
You are 35.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
take it back, dude.
Yeah.
He is way better looking than you, dude. you're 35. God damn.
Fuck you, piece of shit.
I didn't know you were so old.
Fuck yourself. Fucking-
Yeah, my 14-year-old is playing freshman football and got bumped up to the JV team tonight.
Nice.
But I don't get to see the game,
Why?
unfortunately.
Because you have the show.
I got a show. I got this and I got the show, and it was last minute. He was just like, I'm starting JV tonight. And I was like, fuck. I wish I
Oh
could
no,
be there.
you're such a bad
and
dad.
you hung
I
up,
know.
and it was like cats in the cradle. And
Totally.
Silver spoon, little
Listen,
boy blue and
someday
the
my
man
kids
in
are
the
going to
moon.
be like, Dad, my entire life is your fault. And I'm going to be like, yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, it is. You fucked him into existence.
hey, at
so
least he could
he's
listen
right.
to what you were doing while he was playing in one of the biggest games of his life.
Absolutely.
I learned.
You were
a
talking
very-
about dicks for most of it.
Has your kid ever told you, "I wish I'd never been born"?
No.
Did you ever tell your parents that?
Oh yeah. learned at a very young age that cuts real deep to your parents.
Yeah.
Not to mine. They'd be like, "Shut the fuck up."
Really?
My mom,
wish I'd
that
never
would
been
kill
born.
my mom. When I would say that would just hurt her so
I didn't
bad.
talk.
Your mom must be
She felt
sweet.
guilty. She's like, I did. It's my fault he's here and sad.
It's accurate.
Did you say stuff like that, Matt?
To my parents,
He didn't have a
I
relationship.
don't. Yeah.
No relationship?
Not at that time.
I had a very superficial relationship because my parents kind of did their own thing when we got in the cult. Mm-hmm. And so I was very unsupervised.
What age were you when it first happened?
Oh, we moved there when I was 3.
Damn, so real young.
Yeah, I grew up there. That was all I ever knew.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've
So,
heard you
like-
talk about it, but I didn't know how young you were.
So like I wasn't really like connected with them in any way, like because they just did their thing and I kind of did my thing, and there was other people who were supervising me, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really unsupervised. So I was really able to get away with a lot of shit.
So what kind of school did you do then?
So homeschool / it became a charter school at some point, but I would get pulled out of school all the time for different shit. Like, and then sometimes I went to like public school. I think the most public school I did 5th grade in public school, and then I did the freshman baseball season in public school, and then I did 2/3 of my junior high school year in public school.
What is that like to go to public school like you're just a cult kid in school?
And I'm the cult kid in
It's
school.
like, hey, don't mind this robe.
I'm
But
totally no, seriously.
I'm
like
the cult.
I'm totally the cult kid in school. I know
wow.
some of the kids from playing like Little League Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So the only friends and real connections I have are kids who I know playing Little League Baseball. And just I really have to figure it out. Other than that, like I really have to figure out how to relate to people. Like I've been thrown into just weird situations like that. It's
I mean,
like,
that would be crazy. Just
you've
living on
been-
a cult and then just out of nowhere, like, hey, 1 year of school with regular people, just being like, hey, man, how come you're bald and barefoot?
I wanted to play football. That was the thing. Yeah. I wanted to play football. So I was like, I would like to play football. And they're like, all right, go to high school and play football.
Did you guys watch a lot of football at the cult?
No, yeah, a little
was that
bit.
cool?
Some. Yeah,
It was
we
cool
did.
to watch football. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't
Watch
against
sports.
Wasn't against the medium's wishes.
I guess,
No, we're
dude, I
sports.
think my image of it is much more primitive. I don't know why. I'm seeing like
Mine
tents.
is too.
I'm seeing orange robes. I'm seeing a
No.
lot of tea.
No,
No?
I mean,
There might have been some orange robes, though.
Tents?
You guys were into swamis.
no orange robe. Yeah, maybe some
Did
people
you have
send
faith
orange robes.
healers?
No faith healers. Well, I mean, the mediums, when in trance, would prescribe
Mediums. See, that's the shit I'm looking for.
Yeah, mediums. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So mediums, spirits came into their bodies, took over their bodies, and then like dictated to you like the way you should have been living, or like if you
We've
had
all
like an
seen
issue.
True
or
Blood. We
something
know
like
how
that.
mediums work.
I haven't seen True Blood.
Oh, wow.
I didn't watch True Blood either.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
There's great boobs in True Blood.
Yeah.
Anna Paquin.
Vampire show?
Shout out to Anna Paquin. Oh, it's worth it.
Oh, is it the vampire show?
Yeah, it's
no
worth
thanks.
it. It's worth it.
All right,
It's worth it.
He's regaling me with a.
I know.
Oh
Talks
yeah,
about this all the time.
What I really need to do is like gather a bunch of people.
You gotta write a
and-
book.
I think so.
I'll probably write a book.
I think you should write a book.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
That definitely.
I mean, it just seems so interesting to me.
I don't
There's
have
just-
anything interesting like that. Like,
there's
what am I
so-
going to do? Talk about getting fucked? Like, nobody wants to hear about that.
There's so many different layers to it too because it changed over so many different times, and I've reconnected with some people, and they've told me their versions, and they're a little bit older. So
Really?
like so like I know a guy.
What's that like?
I know a guy who helped. Like he was one of the guys who, for a while, what the cult was doing is they were floating checks. They had a massive check floating scheme going on, like back in the 80s.
Wow.
Where like there was a couple $100,000 in checks that were floating between banks, and they had it mapped out what banks, what cards, like because back then there wasn't really the electronic processing. Like they had to wait for shit to actually transfer from one bank to the next. And so these people had it figured out. And so there was a couple $100,000 in checks that were floating every day, and there was a very precise schedule that these guys had to follow in order to make sure that nothing bounced. And then one day one of the Czech fucking
was, like,
things got
sick.
stolen.
Oh, get stolen?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dude, let's
And
write
that's
this
where they caught
movie.
it
Let's
on.
write this movie.
And
This
the
is
guy-
a movie. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the guy I was talking to is like, I think they had it stolen so they could stop doing it because all
This
that
is
shit
like
was
a
federally
movie
insured.
or like a FX miniseries.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Like
It's
Fargo.
awesome.
Like,
What was
and
your-
there's
Call
so
it
many
pacing?
different, but it went through so many different fucking things. So that was one part of it, and then there was another part of it, like where we fucking lived off of fucking food trucks, and there was another fucking part of it where we had commissary food, and there was another part of it where we tithed, and there was another part of it where we kind of all separated, but we're still connected. It just like it
a lot
went
of,
through
like-
so much different evolution and its eventual falling apart that it's like when
What's
people
crazy
ask
to
me
me
what
is
it's
that it's
like, it's like
still-
I can't
Yeah.
pinpoint one part of it.
Well, what's
Did
crazy
you, like,
to me is
escape or
it's
something?
still going to some respect.
It's still going very, very, very.
Did you have to
small.
like put yourself in a box and ship
got
yourself away
kicked
or
out.
something? Oh, you got kicked out
Yeah,
for being a
never
heretic?
got invited back for being too much of a piece of shit to be in the cult that created the guy who was a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's the funniest thing.
That's
about it,
hilarious.
is, like,
Yeah.
The only reason I am the way I am is because I've been exposed to all of you people for my entire.
What did you
fucking
do
life.
though? Were you just like getting drunk and passing out in the town square?
I did some shit that I'm not proud of. Yeah, I'll talk about
Sounds
it
like good
someday.
stories.
He is-
No, it is. It's,
we've talked about it once.
We've talked about it once.
And
I've
honestly-
told some people about it. I'm gonna talk about it completely
Yeah.
at some point.
I think that's
just-
the end of the book.
I just haven't figured out how to do it in the way that I want to do it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Where I feel like it's really telling the story the way it needs to be told, and it's really.
He's trying to paint himself
You're
in
saying
a better
this-
light.
I'm not trying to paint myself in a better light at all.
No,
That's
no, no,
not
no.
the thing.
You're saying this needs to be done like a
Kidding.
musical.
no.
We're trying
I
to
just
get the emotions across.
I just want to
Song.
make sure it's done in the most truthful and accurate and compassionate way possible.
If you want compassion, and I mean, music's your ticket.
So in poetry.
In poetry, yeah, probably. Can we get the Hamilton guy? Can we get him to come do this?
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever the fuck his name is. So,
Hamilton. We'll just call him that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hamilton guy.
Yeah, I did not
Call him
have
Hams
like
for short.
a graceful fall. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I went down pretty hard, but I'm happy I did because it's the only
Yeah,
way
that's
I would have
awesome.
ever
Well,
gotten
I
out
bring-
of there.
I bring
like
this
I was
up
just
every
very
time.
serious. I was like I was cult member for life.
So when
there was
you-
no way I was getting out of there.
When you did leave though, do you have like a high school diploma at this point?
When I left, I had a bachelor's degree.
Oh, okay. So
But-
you're getting because I don't know. It sounds like you're not going to real
Well,
school, but
I didn't.
But you were
I-
educated.
When I was 17, I was told that if I was really in love with my like vibration, which is my soulmate, who I was told who my soulmate was when I was 11 years old. That's the
Who's
only person I could
his
ever
baby
marry.
Mama.
That's the mother of my kids. That's the only person I could ever marry. That's the only person I can ever have sex with. And that person was going to get me to stop reincarnating and finally be at peace in heaven.
oh, well, you got to take that deal.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was what was given to me as the only thing that's ever going to make me happy and get me off this existence of hell on earth.
That's how you get someone to believe. Is
Man.
you say that to them at 17.
Yeah.
No, I was
Oh, you tell
I
them
was told that at 11.
Yeah.
11.
When you're a little kid, you're
And
like,
I
hey,
was
this is the only way you
not
can
only
stop
was I a
reincarnating.
little kid, I was a miserable little kid. Like I was a fucked up kid. Like
Yeah.
I had some shit happen when I was real young, and just other shit happened for the rest of my life up to that point, and I was fucking miserable.
Did they tell you you
Fucked
could
up
like
kid.
get reincarnated as like a cockroach or?
They weren't real clear on the animals and bugs part.
Okay.
Yeah, it was mostly just people. Like that was never like whenever you'd ask about that kind of shit, they'd be like, maybe.
Is the leader
Really?
is like a multiple wife kind of cult or?
No. Not
That's
a
good.
multiple
Do you
wife.
think Do you think he was fucking other people? Though? She was the one with the power, though, right? Because she was the
Nah.
medium.
But it's
Who
hard
had the
to tell.
power?
It was very anti-man,
Yeah.
so a lot of her shit was in there. But I mean, he was in control of a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like he was definitely like
I think he
the
was the
con
mo-
artist.
He was the money
mastermind.
guy.
Looking back,
He
was
was
she
the
a
con artist.
convincing medium?
Sometimes. But I don't. But here's the thing. Like, here's the thing. I don't know. Like, sometimes it was great.
Yeah.
And sometimes the message was like a really great message that I still believe today.
Yeah.
Which is just like, be a cool dude and love people.
Totally.
Well, I
Like,
mean,
and that was what the message was a lot of the times. But then a lot of the times what the message was completely in line with what the ruling family needed to survive.
Hey, be a good person, love everybody, and also, hey, get these checks out of here.
Yeah, pay
Get
your
'em
tithe.
moving.
Call
Every couple weeks, just move these.
Call your parents, and like the kids who were there, like the older, I say kids, but the founders, the first people who came there, came from trust funds, came from big trust
So these
funds.
are like rich people making this cult?
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
that's
No,
that's
the
even-
people
that's
who
how
were
you
making
make
the
a
cult were not rich. The people who they
the
attracted in the
original.
cult
Okay,
were
okay,
kids
okay.
were kids of very rich people. Like my grandfather was a wealthy lobbyist in Washington D.C. There was another guy who ran a energy company.
Shout out to Pop Walker.
Yo,
Another
what
guy-
up? What up, Mr. Walker?
Another guy came from he had like Alaska oil line money, where he'd get like a giant check every fucking year.
And and how are you tricking these people to come here and live this way?
Easy to do that when
It's-
people are out there looking for answers and they're not getting them at home.
One of the main things they did was through this relationship training that they were doing. This is how they really trap people in, because I don't know if you've ever heard of EST or the Forum, but it's been compared to some culty stuff, and then you get in these big groups and like these convention centers, and everyone just like says like the worst shit about themselves.
Yeah.
And like that's
And then they
I've
use it
never
against
done it.
you.
And that's what was done in the cult too.
It's the same thing that they do in Scientology.
Right.
Like when you're doing the e-meter
cans,
thing
yeah.
and they're going through like, they basically just get dirt on you and then they use the dirt that you've given them against you. And they use that to keep pushing you down and
Dang.
making you feel like this is your only way to be a better person.
And so what they did is they used like this relationship training stuff. They traveled the country. They found people. They used this relationship training stuff to hook these people in. And they invited them to move out to Arizona and be a part of their family.
So they like do relationship training, you mean like with you and your vibration partner that you said?
Yeah. Well, like they would do it with couples back in the day. This is how they got people there.
That was before the vibration thing?
All those people magically were like vibrations.
Ha!
I don't
All
know.
the founders.
All the couples that they got to come were like, oh my God, you found it on your own. But for us, these were all assigned people who, were already there. And if you looked at a lot of them, they were strategic marriages. Like I was married to a granddaughter, which ties my family's money in to the hierarchy, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
There was
a
a lot
political
of
marriage,
there was
yeah.
a lot of political. Everything was a political, strategic marriage, trying to intertwine all these monies together the best they could. So if shit fell apart, they still had a connection to pull on
Dude,
this
you
stuff.
have got to write this movie.
Really? He does.
Super
At
interesting.
least a book about it.
I'll
because
write
it's,
some at
it's
some point, yeah.
fucking. It's so
I'm sure I
interesting and
will.
fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they use just such like power structure type moves. Like you ever read? There's a book by a guy named Robert Greene that I fucking picked up at one point because he was on Rogan,
Yeah.
and it's called The 48 Laws of Power.
You want to know what's very funny?
What?
So, one of the sons of the cult members, after I was out for a little while, I was living in a halfway house. Like, I was totally cut off from the cult, from my entire family, my wife, my kids. Nobody who I'd ever known in my entire life was talking to me. Like, I was alone completely. This guy who was the son of the female cult leader and stepson or son-in-law, whatever the fuck it is of the guy. What is it? Stepson? Stepson. Yeah, okay. He was like, hey, I want to talk to you. Let's go get lunch. And I had known him, and he'd been out of the cult for a long time. I was like, oh, let's talk. And he was like, hey, so he was explaining to me his viewpoints on why the cult was all fake.
Yeah.
His mom was a charlatan. His stepdad was a con man. And he said one of the days that I first figured it out is I walked into his office, and the book that was sitting on the desk was the 48
Laws of Power.
Laws of Power. And he said, I sat there and read it, and it was spelled out
Exactly
so
what they're
perfectly.
doing.
It was spelled out so perfectly that even an idiot, he explained it, he was like, even an idiot like me, him, who was not an educated person, that I could understand and see exactly what was happening and exactly what he was doing. And he was like, it was very Sun Tzu-like.
Oh yeah.
And I haven't read this
Wow.
book at all.
Well,
And I haven't-
Art of War is
I
Sun
haven't-
Tzu, but
No. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, I understand what Sun Tzu Art of War is, but I'm saying I haven't read the 48
Yeah,
Powers.
yeah.
But I understand.
it's. I mean, it's very like there's a lot of Machiavellian ideas in it, and but what's great
Shout out
about
to
it
Tupac.
is
Machiavelli, y'all.
if those of you that are listening to this, I just kissed my fingers in the front back position.
He kissed me on the lips. Don't lie.
I might have.
From the butthole lips.
Easy. But that's what it is, though. It's just like the guy who wrote it. He made it. It's brilliant the way he did it because
Yeah.
he cites stories from history.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones that sticks out to me is Lola Montez, who is a courtesan from I want to say Spain, and she essentially bankrupted like a bunch of dukes in Europe, and just used that. She was the original gold digger.
Nice.
You know, just used the coups to get what she wanted, and then she moved to New York and died in New York, like a very wealthy woman.
Right.
But like the story of Lola Montez and how she circumvented and used her femininity for power, was like one of the things they talk about. But every time they talk about these different laws of power and the way you can assert yourself over people, it was just like, holy fuck! Like I can see an instance of this in my life.
Yeah.
With every single one of them.
Right.
Like I read that book and I gained a better understanding for a coworker that I had at one point. And he was the type of dude where he'd been doing the job forever, and you know he couldn't tell him anything,
Right.
even if he was wrong about something.
Yeah.
He was just that guy.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I've been doing this for 15 years. You
Yep.
can't tell me what to do. And you know, he'd be like, "Well, you're doing it, fucking." And so the way that I did this, like, it was like, okay, this guy takes his identity from his work, and you know, like this is what gives him his purpose in the world. So
Right.
me saying that he's doing it wrong or trying to correct him is taking away what he sees as his power in the world.
Right.
And so the way I would do it is I would phrase it as after I read this book, it made me start phrasing like when I would be like, hey, you're fucking up, it would be like phrasing it as a question, you know, like making him think that I was stupid and
Right.
ask and like, but I would use the question to lead him into the right way of doing it.
Right,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? And it was just little things like that that kind
Yeah.
of helped me to stop getting angry at this guy.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of the way I used it because I don't want to have power over people.
Yeah.
Right.
But at the same time,
Right.
it's
But
good
if
to
you wanted to,
understand
you
shit
could
like
use
that.
those same skills to make him
Oh,
give you all
yeah.
his money and marry
Right.
somebody that you chose.
for sure. I could have fucked his daughter, whole 9
Absolutely.
yards.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's like that's just what it is. It was just
age of consent in Arizona is
Psycho-
17,
like
right?
Like female-led one?
It was supposedly a feminine energy, like that's what ran it, and male energy. But what all that meant was men were fucking trash, men were garbage.
We are.
and
So did like girls like talk shit to you? In an acceptable way to you because you had grown up hearing that?
I don't know, man. I grew up pretty. I didn't really talk to girls.
Was it like the opposite of what
I'm just
people
trying to
that
think,
grew
like-
up like in regular public schools would experience? Like when you were walking down the street, were girls catcalling you? Be like, "Hey, nice ass, bitch! Oh, you looking good."
I've definitely been catcalled more than I've catcalled. I've never once catcalled anybody,
that's
and
what I'm imagining. Like the
I get
exact
I get
opposite
catcalled quite a
of
bit.
The stereotypes.
You guys
of
would be shocked how
regular
much I
world.
get catcalled.
Really?
It happens pretty often. Yes,
By boys.
and
No,
girls.
by girls.
By
That's what
both.
it is
Yeah.
called.
Yeah,
Really?
I've been catcalled by
I mean, it's
quite a bit.
It's that dishwater
Did you get
blonde
paid
hair.
less for the same job?
There's a picture.
I was a slave laborer as a child. I was a child slave, so I got paid nothing to
There's
work
a picture
construction.
of Matt that I love
Wow.
to use
Yeah.
in episode covers, like right after hockey practice when he was just fucking svelte.
Dude, that's such a good fucking
Such
picture
a great
of me.
picture, but he looks so dumb.
Oh,
I could
it
just,
looks so
I could
dumb.
just see that, see women lining up for him.
Yeah.
He's got that big dumb
Just a
face.
big meathead,
Yeah.
big goon.
I was
Oof.
a big dumb goon,
Oh.
and I was just super like just shredded too at
Yeah.
the time. I really was like my face is real popping, like my cheekbones are sticking out, my jaw's real good. Yeah, that's why I have this beard right now because this is all real soft.
Yeah.
Everything's real soft under this beard.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it makes you look brawny.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
You could pimp paper towels. To
You could
me
be the
any
brawny
day.
man. Yeah,
I am the brawny man. You guys don't know this.
You're not.
Got shit coming out.
You're not.
Later
He's
this
got,
year.
he's got kind of a
Brawny
Tom
man-
Selleck
that brawny
mustache,
man-
but I feel like in the modern era, you gotta
He
update him.
fills out that shirt way differently than you do.
Listen, there's
Is your
prosthetics
chest
for
just
that.
ridiculously hairy?
No.
No,
It's actually
No,
not.
it's not hairy.
that's kind of a
The other,
disappointment.
the other
It's
day,
there's
the
hair,
other day
but
when we were
it's
slacklining.
It's very light.
The other day when we were slacklining. Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's hair, but
Yeah,
it's not
but it's-
like.
you're not
Look at his
ridiculous.
vacuum. Look at the vacuum nipples going on right now. Matt, give those a
than
little
me.
pinch. Come on now. What are you
Sorry,
doing?
buddy.
Jesus.
Sorry, hold on. Let me.
Pipes. Yeah, I mean you're
we go.
Korean.
Yeah,
like
I'm Asian.
you're just.
You're not
Tons
supposed
of
to have
body
hair,
But I
right?
got
No.
great skin.
You do have great.
You do
skin.
have great skin. Listen,
Thank you. Hey, that's the Asian.
Brian.
Listen.
Brian, come show everybody your hair.
Brian, the producer,
Yeah,
showing his hair.
Brian, show everybody what
Let's see.
real hair
We're
is.
looking at body hair.
No, body hair.
Body
Yeah.
hair.
On his
Forgot you
back,
had the
though.
fucking S.
Oh, yeah, we still got the S, yeah.
I forgot you still had the
Wow.
S.
That
Yeah,
is-
the back hair is impressive. Though. I like that. You have good back hair.
Everybody, that was Brian's attempt at shaving a dollar sign into his chest.
No, a Superman S, right?
No, it
No,
was
it's
a dollar
a dollar
sign,
sign. It was a dollar
and
sign?
he just didn't realize that dollar signs strikes go all the way through.
I mean, it was like emoji dollar sign.
Yeah, nah.
I don't know what emoji
It just
dollar
looks like a
sign means,
backwards
Brian.
S.
It looks like backwards.
Shit about me having the gumption to shave my own body hair. I mean, like, come on.
I mean, you didn't shave it.
You're the
You
only
had
one who's
Devin
not
do it,
showing
and you
your
marked
body
it
hair
out
here, Bill.
incorrectly for her.
Yeah, you haven't fucking taken off your shirt this episode.
I mean, I don't have much chest hair.
Well, let's look at it. Everyone
We're
else is
trying to
looking.
compare. Just see who's
Jesus
got the most
Christ.
hair. I'm not afraid to show you. It's nothing crazy. I'm not that hairy.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of chest hair.
wow.
You got like nothing there.
And this is the way I'm staying for the rest of the podcast.
That's fine.
And you're.
Shirt back on.
Do you
fine.
trim around your nipples?
Nope.
Wow.
It's just naturally that way.
I haven't cut any of my hair at all.
What about your ball hair?
None.
Yeah.
None.
Are you bushy right now?
Oh, and I mean, I haven't shaved. Listen, I was the kid in high school that
Yeah.
first started shaving his balls
Yeah.
and his dick and everything.
Yeah.
And I got made fun of, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And then everybody else started doing it. I was
Yeah.
like, well, I already fucking started that trend, and I'm over it.
What do you
You're such
guys?
a hipster
What do you
piece
guys
of
do though?
shit.
Do you like shave, or do you use little scissors and trim, or do you like?
I
use
trim.
chemicals?
I trim with an electric
Nothing.
razor.
The fuck, I mean, you're a fucking animal. Let your hair fly.
It
Hey,
grows.
man, I'm
It
trying to
grows
consider
long.
it.
It grows long, and I take the electric razor on like the 3 guard,
Yeah.
and maybe the 2 guard, and then I trim my whole pubic area, and my balls and my taint, all the way down to that, and then it'll grow out to a certain point, and it depends on how much sex I'm having at the time,
Okay.
and who the partner
Come
is, and if it's a regular
really?
person, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's
if
nicer
I'm showing it off to
trim
somebody
it up.
new on a regular basis, I want to have it trimmed up.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'll trim it up first with
are
my little
monsters.
razor, and then I'll use some Veet.
What? What's Veet?
What is V?
It's like Nair.
oh no, so
Oh yeah.
I don't go all the way bald.
Oh,
I go like this much hair. Just
I will
Yeah.
say that through my 20s, I mean, I definitely manscaped, but I mean,
I'll get rid of it all.
I mean, I don't see the
that's too much
point.
for me.
I
There
don't
was
see the
one.
point.
There was one time where it went wrong. Now every other time it's been fine, but I
was that
did
like?
burn myself
Oh.
once.
Do you have a taint burn? Where was it burned?
It was all sack.
Just everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
Jesus
only
Christ.
sack though, because like you do the above
what
regions
was
and
that
stuff
like?
as
How
well.
long? How
How'd
long
you do
was
it
the
wrong?
recovery?
Dude, okay. Well, first of all, it was only
you have to
on there
ice?
for like it was only like 5 to 6 minutes.
Okay.
Which is like about how much they recommend. But then it just started to burn like slowly, but so consistently, like keep
Whoa.
getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until eventually it was like, oh shit. And so I ran in the shower and started like spraying it off. But dude,
Yeah.
it did not matter. Like once it was all off, it kept burning and burning and burning, like worse and worse. Like, have you ever got peppermint, like essential oil on yourself?
I've had Nair burn.
You've had Nair burn?
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
dude, imagine that on your
No.
scrotum.
That was the only thing that I
They were
Nair when I would
red
use Nair.
for dude like a week.
how long did they hurt?
I
for?
used to use
They
Nair.
only hurt for like I don't know. They hurt the first day and then they were sensitive for like
Okay.
a couple days where
Okay.
like I didn't need like a slap or anything.
Hold on,
Yeah.
an
Nobody
entire
needs
day of
that.
hurting is a lot of
I mean,
times
it
to
was
have your balls.
it was
hurt.
burning, dude. Like it burned
Wow.
for I don't know, an hour of like burning and then
Jesus
just felt really
Christ.
uncomfortable.
You
But
imagine
then-
if Johnny Cash wrote that song?
Yeah.
Did you dip your?
I fell into a burning sack of fire.
Did you pour like some milk in a bowl and dump your balls?
No, you can't do that.
No.
Why not?
That's not
I-
gonna do anything.
I feel like
that's gonna
for
feel
hot
Tried
great.
it with
food,
cold
your
water
mouth.
for a long time, but yeah, it did not help
Cold,
that much.
cold water didn't do anything.
I hear
chemical
milk.
burns. Just, I mean,
It just
hear milk's
burns,
great for
yeah.
it.
it's a chemical
So
burn.
be very careful,
treat
everybody.
chemical
It's
burns
not
with-
recommended for your bikini area. It says it right on the bottle.
I used to use Nair to, because in high school, college, like when I was wrestling, I would take all the hair off my body.
Yeah.
And the reason being is you just seem to sweat more.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like if you have less hair, then your hair doesn't soak up a sweat, like a little, like sweat.
This is typical wrestler logic right here.
Dumb logic. Dumb logic. Probably not how the human body works, but I felt like it did it more. So then I narrowed,
cut way
and I
easier.
fucking left it on my legs too long once, and like I had like cherry red legs
Dude,
forever.
it hurts, man. It is
man.
the worst.
But I will say this: having that fuck up then saved me from getting caught like in another thing. So when you
Underage sex ring?
No. When you wrestle, you have to do hydration checks, right? And you have to go essentially pee in a cup, and then they take a pH strip and they check out the acidity of your urine, which tells them how hydrated you are. And if you're cutting weight, you're obviously already dehydrated. And you when they do this, when they check your urine, they also give you a pinch. So they check they do a skin fold fat check, and they check it here. They check it like on your midsection, and then they grab a spot on your back.
Yeah.
And they'll give you your percentage. I'm probably, honestly, I just pinched myself. I'm
I
probably about 36 to 38% right now.
Oh, yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Normal range for a dude is anything, like 6 to 20 is normal for a guy.
Over 20 is overweight.
Yeah. Over 20 is obese.
Is it obese over 20?
I mean,
I don't
if you
feel
go
like
by
it's
the BMI
really
scale,
obese,
if you go
but-
by the BMI scale, I mean, fucking everybody's obese. Like people are just bigger
Yeah.
these days than when that was published. Plus, like body composition plays into a lot of how you are, and yeah, I weigh 230 pounds, but I guarantee like at least 160 of that's muscle.
Yeah.
At this point, maybe not.
Hey, I can see it. It's all in the chest. It's all up
I
top.
got some ham hocks on me. But so I was faking a hydration test, and I had taken a bunch of niacin, and I stole my buddy's piss. Niacin helps you to essentially just get everything out of you. It opens up all the. Actually, I take that back. I fucked the story up. I wasn't faking the hydration test for the niacin. We had a random drug test. Like
This is a much different story.
it's a much that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a random drug test, and I'd taken a bunch of niacin. Niacin open if you take the right kind of niacin in a high dose, it flushes you. So it opens up the capillaries close to the top of your skin, which is also where your fat is. What's stored in fat? THC. What does Bill smoke? A shit ton of weed. So that's how I passed it. Was I took a shit ton of niacin and I chugged water. And I mean, I wrestled. I was like, at that point in my life, I was like 6% body fat.
Yeah.
So I passed the drug
imagine
test.
it.
But the coach
I've
asked
seen
me,
the pictures. He's very fuckable back then.
the coach asked me, he's like, "Are you on anything, or what did you take?" Because I was beet red.
yeah.
And I had no hair on my body, and I just go, "Oh, I fucked up with the Nair."
It's the longest payoff of any story.
Oh
we've
my
ever
gosh,
told,
I
Bill.
forgot what we were
It's
talking
not.
about before we
We
got
went-
into it.
we
I was
went-
like,
I
he's,
fucked
he's
up the story
describing
first.
his,
We went
his
seven
naked
I
fucking
fucked up the
different
story, and I'm
roads.
sorry I
Hairless
fucked
body.
up
We
the
went
story.
down
I've had too many
7
beers.
roads.
I fucked up.
And it turns
Okay?
out it was a fucking Nair story the
Yeah,
whole time.
it was a Nair story. That's
How
what we were
dare
talking
you.
about. Was him getting his
I know.
balls nared.
Hey, you know what I'm doing right now?
Veet.
Veeted.
I'm busting balls.
I know.
Do you?
They do.
Are you sure?
Yeah. You want to hear the fake and hydration story?
Yeah.
I convinced this dude named Renee. Shout out to Renee, because he was a really lightweight guy. He wrestled at like 133, and I was cutting a lot of weight. And I was like, "Hey, just leave your because they would let you go back into the stall and empty your urine, and then you just left the cup on the back of the toilet, and nobody went in there in between people checking. So it's just leave your piss back there. And so I just put my cup in the thing, and I peed into the toilet like I had filled it, and I came back out with his, and I was like, "Here you go."
God, what a monster.
He did this just to wrestle another boy, and it never mattered.
It never mattered ever. Dude,
Nobody
I
remembers.
fucking did so much dumb shit that never
That's the
mattered
thing,
in my
people
life.
kill themselves for high school sports.
This
Nobody
was
gives
in
a
college.
shit.
This was college.
Oh, that was college. Okay, well then that means a
I
little
never
bit
had.
more.
I wrestled really heavy in high school. I didn't ever cut weight or anything. Like I was a
remember,
fat kid.
I remember being in high school when I wrestled in my junior year that I went to. Guys being in the back of the van, us going up to tournaments.
Yeah.
And a dude's in the back of the van, and he's got a fucking giant dip in his mouth.
Plastics on.
And he's got plastics
like
on.
6 pairs of sweatpants.
And he's fucking spitting. Spitting.
That's why I started
All
chewing.
We get there. Oh, that's why
Yeah.
that's why they all chew. And then he's just running for a high school wrestling tournament.
Yeah, and dude,
Do
I
you
know
think-
dudes that are like
do
eating
you
ice
think-
chips for weeks.
Do you think this guy went
Nothing.
to college and wrestled?
No,
No.
He didn't.
he definitely didn't.
He absolutely did not.
The guys that cut
You know what he
super
did?
weight in high
you know
school.
what he did? He went and did construction.
Yeah,
That's what he did.
that's legit, dude. Like one of the best dudes that I ever wrestled with in my life. I mean, his family is a bunch of farmers.
Yeah.
He's a farmer.
Yeah.
He didn't wrestle in college.
Oh, I know one of the guys who came out of that program, and he's a college wrestling coach right now.
We had
You
a
know what I mean?
2-time
Like,
state champion. The kid was our coach's son.
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal wrestler. I mean, his technique was flawless on anything that he ever do. He had an ankle pick that was reminiscent of fucking Cale Sanderson. Like Danny White he was unstoppable, and he was a real dick. But his dad made him hate wrestling, so he played baseball in college.
Yeah.
To just fucking tell his dad
Yeah.
to eat a dick.
Dude.
Yeah.
And it was just like, but he was one of the best. 2-time state champion. Like
Now that I know that you like wrestling too, you're gonna have to come to some of my kids' wrestling matches.
Okay.
Because my kid's he's
kid's
gonna be
a
a
monster.
junior. He's gonna be a junior.
a
He took
monster.
fourth. He took fourth in the freestyle states.
Nice.
Wrestling up 10 pounds.
Dude, that's dope.
Like his coach called me the night before. He's like, "Hey, freestyle states are tomorrow, and your kid's not coming." And I'm like, "Oh shit! Well, he should probably go." And he's like, "Yeah, he should come." And he weighed in a pound over what he should have been wrestling, and ended up wrestling 182s instead of 172s, or 180s instead of 170s, and took fourth in state.
Nice.
what did
So-
they change the weight classes again? Or
Freestyle is 170s,
a
180s.
little different,
Dude.
but
Collegiate's
Speaking of-
172s, 182s.
Speaking of ankle
172, 182.
yeah, something like that.
Because
I
it
got-
used to be different.
What did it used to be?
So it used to go 125, 133, 141,
Yeah.
149, 157. No, was it? It's 57, 50. It was 57.
Yeah.
Then it was 65. Then it was 70.
I think it's 71, 72, somewhere in there. I think they give him a pound. at some
71's
point.
high school.
Yeah, this is high school.
Great ref. And she would sit there and call him by name as he's reffing a match. And just, Casey, you know that's fucking bullshit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
My mom was an embarrassing
Shout out
sports
to
mom.
Barb.
Definitely.
Why was your mom embarrassing?
Well, just because she was she took it really seriously. Like, I definitely had to practice after practice all the time. She would take notes, and then when I got home, we'd work on the stuff that I fucked up.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm serious. And,
Wow.
I remember
I
one
wish
time
my parents loved me like that.
I was playing baseball when I was a kid, and this was in second grade. I was really young, and I was playing first base, and I was so sick, standing
Yeah.
next to the base, and I just started puking,
Oh,
throwing
God.
up on the field, and all the other parents were telling me to come off the field and come over here, it's okay.
Yeah.
And my mom started yelling at them, and be like, "You don't tell him to get off the field. You stay on the field. You stay on your base."
Oh, my God.
dude, they thought she was such a monster.
That's
they
fucking
still came and got me, and
That's
were like,
amazing.
"What's wrong with you?" And shit. Dude,
Oh.
but she took it seriously.
That's
She was a
fabulous.
screaming sports mom, and I appreciate it.
That is fair.
fantastic.
My parents, when I graduated high school, my small town again. My coaches had known me since I was a little kid. One of them had coached me in freestyle, and it was like the parents' dinner. And they were like, yeah, I've known Billy forever. He's got a lot of heart, but he's always been kind of a weirdo. And they told this story about like how everybody got picked up from practice when we were kids, and I was just like still hanging out outside, jumping into snowbanks, and they're just like, "Yeah, we just left you, and you were fine. You showed up the next day." Like my parents were always removed from every sporting event. Like my dad would show up every once in a while, and he was embarrassing because he'd wear this fucking Indiana Jones hat to everything I ever did. And he'd be sitting on, he'd bring a book with him, and then like he'd read the book like when everybody else was doing shit, and then the second it was me, he'd, like pay attention for a minute, and then he'd go back to his book or leave.
Yeah.
Like that was it. My mom rarely ever. She didn't like the wrestling. She hated because she was always like, he's gonna get hurt.
So you're like the opposite. Like a lot of the times, it was like the dad that wishes his kid played sports, and then you're like the kid who played sports, and his dad's like,
Yeah, my dad was just so fucking disinterested.
I wish he was a novelist.
He was so disinterested in me playing sports.
I wish he was writing haikus right
Pretty
now.
much, that's what it was. You know, like, but at the same time, like, he loved football. You know, like the only reason I ever played football is to have a relationship with my old man.
Yeah.
It's
I had a
just-
football coach who wore a funny hat.
I don't know if it's is it because I don't know if it's right.
Vince Lombardi?
You know, you see the way parents fuck their kids up. Like I was talking about that kid Danny, who his dad fucked him up by making him wrestle. He's the wrestling coach of the high school.
Yeah.
His dad made him wrestle all the fucking time, and then this kid he was phenomenal and went and played baseball.
Right.
You know. Like, is that the way, or is it the way my parents did it, where they didn't give a fuck and it never showed up to anything? Like,
Here's what I find that I do as a parent. I try to overcompensate for all the areas where I felt like I was not loved.
Yeah.
The way that I wanted to be.
I don't want.
And
to
that's what my parents did, and I'm sure that's what their parents did, and I'm sure I think that's the fucking cycle. Is you just like you try to give your kids that thing that you felt like you didn't get to make you complete. But here's the fucking thing: nobody has ever done it right.
No.
No one's ever going to do it right.
There isn't a right.
Because you have to figure out as an adult and as like a fucking human being who you're going to be and what the fuck you're going to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking matter. It's like the people who were born with fucking trust funds and the people who were born in fucking the middle of the fucking woods, it's like they all still have to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all killing themselves at the same fucking rates. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
all equally as miserable, and they're each looking at the other one being like, man, I wish I had it the way you did. But at the same time, it's like, hey, you just have to figure it out on your own. Like, I don't know. Like, the people who have, like, the kids set up on super fucking schedules where you go to sleep at, these times. And it's like, man, I hope that works. But what I see
ultimately, I
is
see those kids rebelling.
Maybe, but maybe they're the ones who are right and I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe your kid should be raised in a
what we
cult.
can take
Exactly.
away. I
Who
think what we
knows?
can take away.
Yeah.
The takeaways from this episode are: be a good person.
be a good person.
Don't fucking
Don't
try
fuck
to
kids.
Don't fuck kids. Don't try to like.
Don't try to fuck kids.
Stop, Matt. Don't try to make up for what your parents did wrong with your kids. Just be a fucking good person to your own children. And Wang Chung.
And don't circumcise.
Everyone wink.
Don't circumcise. That is the biggest thing.
Mason Pipes, tell us about your social media presence.
Social medias. Where are you at?
do you have
Where are you at?
Twitters? Do you have
Twitter, I'm
Instagrams?
at Mason Pipes. On Instagram, I think it's also just Mason Pipes. And
Facebooks?
Yep, Facebook. I've got Mason Pipes Comedy on there.
Oh, look at you.
You can see me all around. I'm all over the place. I'll be at the lounge next week and Big Pine coming up.
Yeah,
Big
Big
Pine.
All that.
Come to Big
We
Pine.
will be at Big Pine
We're gonna
as
be at Big
well. The
Pine.
Meat Sweats podcast will be at Big
hell
Pine.
yeah.
Or be a Big Pine.
That's going to be a blast. That was my favorite time last year.
Oh, so much fun last year.
As always, every other Wednesday, next Wednesday, Matt will have the grid.
The Grid. Yeah, come to the Grid if you want to.
Oh, the Grid is a
Definitely-
blast.
definitely
If-
go to the Grid.
Dude, if you guys
A
aren't
great
going to the
fucking
Grid,
show.
you're making a mistake. The Grid is awesome. Matt's been making it even better. Every time we
been
go
really
there,
good.
there's a dope crowd now.
Thanks, guys.
We got Third Space tonight, Matt and I.
Yeah.
Which is downtown Phoenix, hosted by Aaron Onco. Great fucking show.
Go
It's
to-
going to be a
go
fun
to Third
lineup
Space.
tonight. Go to Third Space every fucking Thursday.
Yeah, for
Show
sure.
starts at 7:30 on the nose because Aaron's a professional. Check it out.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Mason.
Hey, thanks for having
you,
me.
buddy.
It was
Love you,
fun.
buddy.
Appreciate it.